What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Pod! Woo! Woo! We are here! Yes! We made it! Yes! This is it, guys. This is it. It's the week of the Utah Hockey Club's first ever inaugural home game at the Delta Center. Shabuzi's there, ESPN's there, SLC Puck is there. I can't believe it! Woo! I'm your host, Austin Facer. I am so excited for this. Holy cow. You know what really got me excited, though? When I was driving into the swanky SLC Puck studios today from my swanky, other digs, and I saw so many inaugural game billboards on the way. Give me a second to get my heart rate back on pace. Actually, gosh, all that screaming got me feeling away here. But did I say my name is Austin Facer? Did I say I'm your host? Okay, I said that. Okay, sorry, I was so excited. I'm not sure where I am. I'm a little delirious right now. That's how excited I am. But I was driving into SLC Puck Studios, and I saw billboard after billboard after billboard all about the inaugural game, the celebration at the Delta Center, 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Am I going to try to slip out of work early? Yeah, I am going to try to do that. We'll see how it goes. I am thrilled, though. It's going to be such a fun night. And we'll get more into that in just a second, okay? We'll get more into what the celebration will entail and all that and what it means to the hockey community. But I got a couple other things happen this week that I think we should address. Some other very important news. For one, this isn't the most important news, but the Utah Hockey Club closed out their preseason last night at the Maverick Center with a 2-1 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. Goals by Dylan Gunter, Nick Schmaltz. I thought Connor Ingram played out of his mind. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed being there. I snuck into the broadcast somehow. I don't know if you saw that. They just did like a little webcam on the announcers at the Maverick Center. And I guess you could just see me coming up and down the stairs at one point. That was not intentional, by the way. But I made a great joke. I'm like, in the event that I'm like dragged into like a murder investigation or whatever, that's such a perfect alibi. Like I was on the Utah Hockey I could not have killed that man. I was on the Utah Hockey Club broadcast. You could check the tapes. Yeah, so I thought that was great. But I had a lot of fun being at the game there. At the Maverick Center, I wore my signature hat because I'm an egomaniac and I wanted people to notice me. And a few people did. I got hellos, and I had the foresight to write your names down because I thought it was really cool. You came and said hi. Michael, Daryl, Matt, Brandon, Ryan, big thanks for saying hi. It was really nice. I really enjoyed catching up with the people who listened to SLC Puck. Michael and I talked at some length, and we were talking before the game, and we'd noticed as the Utah Hockey Club was taking warm-ups, they were letting people go up to the glass and check it out. So I was like, Michael, let's go check it out. And we went and it was really cool to get a good look at those guys. I'm just like noticing that like they're young guys. Like I'm 32, right? And I'm very immature, so I'm not like sure where my age is on the spectrum of young and old. But those guys are really young. And Lawson Krause, by the way, is enormous. I know like hockey pads add a lot of bulk to a person, but those dudes he is such a big dude. And and just getting like the view up close, I mean, and standing next to other people who wanted to take in the Utah Hockey Club up close and personal. So much fun. It was really cool to be a part of that. And what was interesting was, I guess I should have predicted this, but, being that they played the Avalanche, it was kind of a split crowd. I saw a lot of people with Avalanche jerseys, a lot of Cale Makar jerseys, a lot of Nathan MacKinnon jerseys. MacKinnon didn't play, Makar did. But it was funny is I was sitting there, and again, I had this nice little daughter daddy date, right next to me, and they were talking, they were having a great time, and the dad was like, I'm just going to cheer for both teams. I'm gonna stand up and cheer regardless of who scores the goals. I wonder, that's probably just going to be the case with Avalanche games around here for a little bit until, the Utah Hockey Club solidifies itself. And I think you're going to see that, especially in the next generation of hockey fans. And I think the Utah Hockey Club is sort of preparing for the next 10 years. I am, again, it drives me crazy. You people drive me crazy when you act like this is going to be like a 1-year thing. We don't have our name. The colors are boring. They're generic. I can't believe we don't have sight lines in the Delta Center. It's like, this is going to be here for a while. Like, this is like the same way, like the Jazz are such a huge part of our community. Junior Jazz is obviously huge, right? Like that's who the Utah Hockey Club is going to be for the next 30 years. And, you saw that they were giving away the hockey play set. They're going to name the team the Yeti. This is all done with kids in mind. And I think, like, in 10 years, when the Olympics roll around in 2034, for one, the Delta Center is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be a fantastic place to watch a game. I honestly, truly think, and you're kind of seeing shades of it now, like, the Utah Hockey Club is going to be the hottest show in town. I honestly believe that for the next I think that's very much not only possible, but attainable and will happen. I mean, I talked about it last episode. The Utah Jazz had their media day and had one of the lowest turnouts, I think, that any of the media members in attendance had ever seen. They only had 5 members of the media there. And it's going to be such a media circus on Tuesday. You're going to see every TV station there. You're going to see the anchors from the news desk there. You're going to see almost every radio station out there. You're going to see all the print media. You're going to see guys who pretend that they're media there. Yours truly. You're going to see a lot of the other guys who do great Utah hockey podcasts. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be such a great show. But again, like just to get back to the game last night, gosh, that was fun. I mean, the Maverick Center is such a great hockey viewing venue. You know what I mean? You're in there and you think about like that great 2002 Olympic gold medal game. That place must have been bonkers during that game. I mean, Dick Cheney was there. Rudy Giuliani was there. I mean, that place must have been unbelievably, like, just fun, and I'm joking, right? But again, I just was in there. I was like, man, I can't imagine how, like, active, like, that building must have been during that game. And it's such a great hockey viewing venue. We love our friends over the Grizzlies. If you, again, this has been like my big thesis, right? I think like you're going to see like a lot of like the little kids, want to take in a hockey game. They got their play set at the game on last night, and they really want to see hockey games. The Utah Grizzlies, that's a great option to do that. The tickets are going to be very, very affordable. Free parking. I'm throwing a free plug for the Grizzlies here. You're welcome. But I think if you want to get your family more into hockey, the Utah Grizzlies, that's definitely a great way to go. It's such a great hockey viewing venue. You're up close and personal. You're in the lower bowl. It's a lot of fun, and they've made it like kind of nice. They've got like a nice little jumbotron there. The LED screen's good. The sound is pretty good as well. So I really enjoyed being at the Maverick Center and seeing everybody. It was kind of a sleepy game, I thought, last night. I think you saw both teams, sort of not wanting to, overexert themselves in a meaningless game, not wanting to hurt themselves. I'm sure they saw San Jose Sharks rookie Macklin Celebrini get injured in the Utah Hockey Club's preseason game, and we're like, let's not push it too much. We don't need to overexert ourselves for a game that means nothing, right? But that being said, it was still really cool. I was psyched to see Cale Makar up close and personal, and I've said this a couple times on the show. I think he's the most exciting player in hockey. He's a defenseman for the Avalanche. He's still like really young in his. I think he's only been in the league for probably 5 years, but you can make the argument he might be the best hockey player on the planet outside of Connor McDavid, right? I mean, it's just like, and I just started playing NHL 25, EA Sports NHL 25. And, the premise there that I like to play it in, at least, is, you make your creative player and, you get him really good, and then you can dominate the game. You can skate all over. Your passes are sharp. Your shots are sick. That's the fun of the creative player, is just grinding until you can make the game like as easy as possible. Cale Makar is kind of like a creative player, like kind of version in the NHL. The way he skates is so different from the way everybody else skates. He's a better skater. That's just the best way to put it. He can get anywhere on the ice in such speed. His passes are so crisp. They're tape to tape. His shot's unreal. I know I'm losing you guys. I know this is like the Utah Hockey Club podcast, and I'm like ranting and raving about how much I love Cale Makar. But again, you go to the Utah Hockey Club games and see these guys. Like we talk about when the Jazz are playing the Lakers. You want to see LeBron James. When they're playing the Golden State Warriors, you want to see Steph Curry. Cale Makar is in that same ilk. He is the Steph Curry of the NBA, or the NHL, I should say. So again, if you're looking for like Utah Hockey Club games to attend, and yeah, it is a lot of money, and even though the fan-friendly concessions do help out a little bit, you can get a nice little meal for $20, right? But getting in's the hard part. So if you can only make it to one or two games this year, pick like a great player to see. I would say like the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews is a great one. Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers, and then the Avalanche, they have quite a few, but my guy is Cale Makar. I absolutely love watching him play, but that's not to throw shade at any of the other guys who play for our team, for the Utah Hockey Club. And there was a big announcement regarding the roster, a sort of historic announcement this week ahead of the big game on Tuesday. The Utah Hockey Club announced its first ever captain. The captain is going to be, and it's funny. I talked about Clayton Keller on a previous episode, and I'm like, it's going to be so important that they get their best player to buy into what they're doing here. We don't want him, wanting to go play with Austin Matthews in Toronto, jumping ship. Some people were speculating that Clayton Keller may have been like not totally on board with the move from Arizona. He loves to play golf. I think maybe that was like a small part of it. He had a putting green at his house in Arizona. So like, you know what? That's hard to leave. I would hate to leave my putting green behind. So I said the way you get Clayton Keller on board with this is you make him the captain of the team. You make him the face of what they're doing here. And I am choosing to live in the reality where the decision makers at the Utah Hockey Club heard me say this and realized that it was a good idea, and thus did so accordingly, naming Clayton Keller the captain of the team. And so, hey, I'm happy to give more tips, on what this team should do to make it work, okay? So any other sort of team management decisions, that need to be made, General Manager Bill Armstrong, hit my line. I'm happy to help. But it was such a fun moment, and it's gonna be so fun to see Keller emerge wearing the C. I think people are gonna go nuts, especially when he's introduced in the pregame introductions on Tuesday. And you guys might wonder, like, if you're new to the hockey scene, like, what's the deal with the captaincy? It's like just a little letter they wear on their jersey. It is that for sure, but it's also a lot more. I think the captain really sort of sets the tone for the team, I would say, inside the locker room. So they want someone who obviously has leadership qualities, leads by example, is someone who is willing to step in front of the media and answer the hard questions from time to time. He also, the captain will also, and it's Clayton Keller in this case, will work closely with the coaching staff and sort of be the bridge between management, coaching staff, and the players themselves. So if the coaches, need someone to, push themselves a little bit further, they'll address that with the captain. The captain will be sort of the guy who's like, hey, brings his teammates along. He's someone that his teammates can look up to and respect. And I was joking, like, a little facetiously about, why they should name Keller the captain of the team. It's not because he's their best player, although that certainly doesn't hurt, right? But there are other NHL teams where their best player is not their captain, and I think that just shows that it's a little bit more than that. It's almost hard to put it into words, really. Just you got to have those intangible leadership abilities, like willing to be the face of the team, and it should be someone obvious too. Someone there shouldn't be any contention within the locker room. I think Coach Bear said that this week. He's like, I want the captaincy decision to be an obvious one. I don't want it to be debatable. And I think you can assume that that's who they landed on. They landed on the guy who is the obvious leader in the locker room. I was reading an article about Clayton Keller the other day, and I think it was Turney himself, Coach Bear, who said this. He's like, he's kind of got shades of Michael Jordan a little bit, and I think what that means is he gets on his teammates from time to time. That was very famously documented about Michael Jordan, that he was a little bit of a, for lack of a better word, like a prick, in the locker room. So hey, not that that's a bad thing, right? Like, I'm not saying that's who Keller is, but maybe he's got shades of that, where he can, he rides his teammates. He wants to get the most out of them. But the announcement was really cool. I thought Keller was very gracious and accepting, and I think that's what you want to see too. And he said something that was like pretty cool. He's like, not a lot of people get to see their dreams come true, and so I feel really lucky. And I feel that way too. I really do. I like this. This is like the big trick that I want you guys to get. Okay, I know you guys think that I'm doing this silly little podcast for you, for people like Daryl, for people like Ryan, for people like Michael, for people like Matt, and for Brandon. You guys are just, I guess, I'm happy you guys are enjoying it. I'm happy you guys are having a lot of fun. But here is the real truth behind SLC Puck, okay? I'm doing it for me. I am doing it all for me. This is like for the 10-year-old version of myself. I remember being little and setting up like a camera on a tripod in my parents' basement on Canyon Way in Centerville, and setting up a little desk and like wanting to talk. This is like what I've always wanted to do. It's so weird that it's converging, the start of this new team. I'm having like all this fun I'm having. Thinking about my dad a lot. My dad is definitely involved with this in a big way. It's hard not. Sorry, I might get emotional just talking about this, but like this is like for me like my favorite thing to do. I don't check the view counts anymore. I deleted that. That's not important. I deleted the app on my phone that lets me check the view counts and the subscribers and all that. Because I just decided that that's not important to me. I just want to do a show that makes you guys, or that makes me feel good about, what I'm doing, what I've been through, my journey, all that good stuff. And my goal was to try to do 50 episodes before the home opener. And we're not going to get there. I think this is episode 47 or 48. So we're going to come a little short. And the next time you'll hear from me will be on Wednesday, like always. And I'm going to recap the game. I'm going to be there on Tuesday. One of my listeners has very graciously offered me some tickets at an extremely affordable price. So I really am grateful for that. The fact that someone just reached out to me and helped me get to this game is crazy and weird. And his name's Dustin. So I really appreciate Dustin for taking me. I'm going to take my sister with me as well. We're going to have a really fun time. But this game, they're playing the Chicago Blackhawks. They're playing Connor Bedard, Seth Jones. It's an interesting matchup, right? But to me, that's not the important thing when we talk about this game. Who they're playing is just kind of incidental. It's a winnable game. The Blackhawks aren't very good. That's fine. I think Utah will come out with a lot of energy. I think those guys, their eyes will be as big as dinner plates when they come out of the tunnel. I think when the snow falls, that's going to be pretty amazing. That might be why I'm wearing this coat. I might be preparing for some snow, in advance. But, it's just, again, I was at the game last night and I kept running into people that I know from the hockey orbit, Adrian Denny, who was the longtime voice of the Grizzlies, and then was the voice of the Tucson Roadrunners, and is now back here helping the Utah Hockey Club out. Was here, and it was so fun to catch up with him. I saw Jay Stevens, who does the Utah Puck Report podcast, KSL Sports. Awesome dude. Chatted with him a little bit. For people like Jay and Adrian, and people like my high school coaches, the people who were my coaches from when I played DCYHA through high school. It's going to be a big night for them. It's a big night for Brian Acord. It's a big night for Ken Kitchen. It's a big night for Bob Shegrud. It's a big night for Brad Paul. It's a big night for Brady Hackmeister. It's a big night for Jordan Coulihan. It's a big night for Brayman Acord. It's a big night for Ben Van Komen. It's a big night for Taylor Weaver. It's a big night for for Sam Kitchen, for Kyle Shigard, for Kyle Bennett. I'm just naming like high school teammates. I know it's a big night for the guys who do the Puck Drop podcast. It's a big night for people who do Clean Hits podcast. I love those guys. For the guys who do the Utah Hockey podcast. But I don't think it's not going to be a bigger deal than for me. I'm going to get to say that. No one's going to appreciate that moment as much as me. And you guys have been a big part of it. You guys have made this fun and enjoyable. And I am going to sob at the game. And I think about my dad and everything else. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a good night. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I'm happy we're all experiencing that together. It's a hockey game. It's like, who knew hockey games were so romantic? You know what I mean? But it's just gonna be so great, and I'm excited to see the scene at the Delta Center and the Plaza. It's gonna be really, really fun, and you know we're gonna hear Shabuzi. I had to look up who Shabuzi was. I've heard that song that they were telling. Like, oh, I like that song. I didn't know that was the name of the guy. I've just heard that song that's his. I've heard that a lot. But Tuesday is going to be really fun. It's going to be unbelievable. Like I said, I'm fully expecting them to create like an atmosphere, an ambiance that's going to be really memorable and special. You know, I think it was Media Day just a few weeks ago that Chris Armstrong was like, you know, he thought he was being slick. He thought he was like, you know, and we had snow today. This was a few weeks ago. But he's like, but I wouldn't be surprised if the first snowfall of the year, you know, will actually take place inside the Delta Center on October 8th. But I got bad news for you, Chris Armstrong. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but there's indoor snow in the Delta Center is not going to be the first snowfall of the year. The first snowfall of the year is going to happen right here, right now, inside SLC Puck Studios.
My baby born a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long. Gasoline and groceries, the list goes on and on. This 9 to 5 ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good Lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jay Dale's got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. I've been boozy since I left. I ain't changing for a check. Tell my mind I ain't forget. Woke up drunk at 10 a.m. We gon' do this shit.